Hello. Hello. Hello, hello. Welcome to my channel. I just popped this baby in, so it's extra juicy right now. Today's video is going to be a neighborhood gossip video with gum chewing. So, I did a community poll recently asking what video y'all would want to see next, and this one came in second place. So, wanted to go ahead and do an updated neighborhood gossip video because it's been a while. So, let me start off by saying that if you hear geese squawking in the background, it is because my first piece of gossip is that if you've watched my other neighborhood gossip videos, I have a neighbor who feeds the cats. Okay, whatever, cats are cute, but there's so many stray cats that like scurry around our neighborhood because of this woman. But again, like, that's fine, I'm not a monster. Like, I get it, cats are cute and cats are like pets for some people, but she attracts hundreds of pigeons and it's out of control. Like, these pigeons are like flying on our roof, like pooping everywhere. Like, they're in this woman's yard, like eating the little feed she puts down, and there's like so many of them, and me and my husband were like, oh, like, this is gross. Well, now it has escalated to geese. So now we have a bunch of geese like in our neighborhood around our house, because this is our next door neighbor, and there's like literally geese walking around our whole yard, our property, pooping everywhere. And that's the part that really like is gross, because we have a dog and we walk him twice a day at least, and like now there's all this geese poop all over our driveway, all over our sidewalk, it's everywhere. And we're like, this is so nasty, because when we're walking our dog, we don't want him stepping in the goose poop and then like bringing it inside, or like he like, you know, will lick his own paws. We don't want him getting like a disease. He already just had giardia and he was on medicine for it, and it comes from like eating infected poop or drinking infected water, and we're not sure like how he got it, but anyways, it's like, he's our baby, we are protective over him, we don't want him like eating or stepping in goose poop. And it's also gross for us because it's all over our driveway and our sidewalk, and so we're like stepping in it, and it's just really annoying. It's just really annoying. Plus geese are like not like friendly, and so that is my first like complaint about my neighbors. Is like, I get it, like, you're trying to be nice, I guess, to the animals, but you don't live in the country. You live in a densely populated suburb. Like, you're impacting your neighbors because you're attracting all of this wildlife that's like pooping and like scurrying around, and it's really annoying. They're like openly feeding all these animals, so they're like attracting this like all this suburban wildlife, and also it's not like good for the animals to become dependent on people. Whatever. It's annoying and it's gross, and now we have geese everywhere and we don't know what to do. That was my first piece of neighborhood stuff. Second of all, this isn't really like neighbor, but it's kind of like a neighborhood, and like it impacts us. We but we rent the upstairs and someone else lives in the basement, and they rent that. Our landlords mysteriously last week said that they're going to have someone come by and walk through and tell them improvements they can make, like through the house where we live. So I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna sell. Like, to me that sounds like they're having a realtor or someone come over and tell them improvements to make in order to sell the house. And our lease is up in April, so like only like 2 months away or a month and a half away or whatever. Not even, like a month away to April 1st. So I'm like, well, that's not good because they haven't said anything to us yet. Or no, 2 months away to April 1st. So it's like 2 months away. But they haven't like told us that. That's all they said was like, hey, just so you know, we're gonna have someone come by, blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna literally tell us that they're selling the house in like a month, which would be so bad for us because we would have to move, and we are trying to save up to buy a house, and it's been really hard, and the housing market is crazy, especially where we live, and it will just be so upsetting if we have to pay all the money that it requires to like move, and then we're like trying to save for a house to buy, so then we'll have to like find a temporary rental, and like I'm like, maybe we would like get a storage unit and like keep all our stuff in there and try to find like a furnished like month-to-month rental and like aggressively save during that, and then like move hopefully into a house like from that rental. I don't know, I'm borrowing trouble because they haven't told us that they're selling, but I'm just like putting two and two together, and I feel like that's sus. Like, why are you having someone come tell you improvements? Also, like, we've lived here for 3 years. Like, April will be our 3-year in this like unit, and we take very good care of it. We are very clean, very tidy. We have been very like respectful, good tenants. So I'm like, nothing is even in bad shape. We literally haven't like ruined anything. So like, why are you needing improvements? You know what I mean? The alternative is that they're going to make improvements because they're going to absolutely jack up the rent price so much, which if that happens, we will also have to move because depending on how much it is, like we might not be able to afford it. And they already raised our rent last year, but we were like, okay, whatever. They didn't raise it the first year, which we were thankful for, but then they raised it last year. So I'm afraid that like it's suspicious to me. Like, why are you having someone come in and talk about improvements? I feel like they're either gonna sell or they're going to jack up the rent like so much. So we don't know yet like exactly what is going on, and they haven't like said any of that to us yet. So I shouldn't be like borrowing trouble, but it's also weird because the person who lives below us like hasn't been around. It's been weird. Like this guy moved in and he's super nice, but like he has a girlfriend and she was here like 24/7, which was like fine, but we were like confused, like is she on the lease or is she just like here all the time? Whatever, it's not really our business, but we can like hear them because we live right above them. Like we're in one house. The landlord's just like blocked off the basement, so it's like a separate unit, and they have a separate entrance outside. So it's a very interesting living dynamic because we are separated, but like in a lot of ways it just feels like we're in the same house sometimes. So there have been a few times where we've heard like explosive fights. Like one time we were like literally stopped in our tracks because they were screaming at each other, and like it never got like scary to where, because otherwise I would have like stepped in or like called the cops or something. Like I would have, in was just like a really bad like couples fight, but it was really awkward because we could hear everything, but we were like trying not to eavesdrop, but like we couldn't really help it. So that happened. It lasted like 2 hours. It was such a bad toxic fight. And then a few weeks later, I was here alone and my husband wasn't here, and it happened again. They got in a really bad fight, and like I was like out in the family room and they were like right below me, so I like couldn't help but listen, because like I guess I could like go in the bedroom and close the door and like put headphones in, but like I'm just living my life in my like apartment. I'm not gonna like, I don't know, it was weird. So they were here all the time, but now they are never here, but they're still together because sometimes they'll both like come in together and then leave right away. Or like her car pulled in earlier today, like just her car, not his, and she like went in and got something and left. Or like the other day they both came and they were like laughing and stuff, so like I don't think they like broke up or anything. I think they're just like at her place. But I'm like, what happened? Like, why are they not here anymore? So I'm like freaking out, like, is this all related? Like, are there like improvements that need to be done down there so they can't even live there anymore? And then they're gonna like get the improvements done and then like kick us all out. Like, I don't know, I'm totally speculating, but that's been kind of a weird, like the guy was super nice to us when we met him, and we have nothing against like them, but they just like fight loudly sometimes. And then there was one incident where we came home and our entire house, like our entire unit, reeked of marijuana. Granted, we live in Colorado and we are 420 friendly, like we partake sometimes, like not a big, well, my husband doesn't, but like I sometimes do. We have edibles, like we're not like anti-weed, but you can't like hotbox our house that we live in. They literally like hotbox the entire house, and since they're below us in the basement, it like seeped up through the vents, and it seeped up to where we like had to say something. We were like, had to text them and be like, hey, are you guys smoking? Like, can you take it outside? It's like hotboxing the house. And they were like, yeah. The guy was like, I'm so sorry, it won't happen again. And we were like, it's not a big deal, we're not trying to like babysit you, but like you can't hotbox our house that we're in, and like all of our stuff is in here. It was insane. It was like they definitely were smoking like a joint or a blunt or something like super stanky. It was not chill, it was not just like a weed pen. It was like so potent. So like that was kind of annoying. And then there's been a couple times since where we can like kind of smell weed, but again, it's like it's legal in Colorado and it's not, that doesn't bother us, but it's like annoying when it's like your neighbors below you and they're like making your whole place stink. Like that's annoying. So I don't know, there's been a little bit of like weirdness with the people below us, but I don't know. So I guess that's a little bit of like our own apartment gossip. So that is neighbor gossip because they are kind of our neighbors. So we don't know what's gonna happen with our unit, like in our apartment, and like what's going on with the people below us. I don't know. But speaking of hearing people fighting, the people in the building next to us, so there's like a condo building or a duplex next to us that this guy and girl, I think they're just like dating, I don't think they're married. They own it and they live in one half, and then the other half they rent out on Airbnb. And the other day my husband came home and I was in the bedroom and he was like, oh my god, the neighbors are fighting so loud. And I was like the people below us, and he was like, no, like the neighbors in the duplex. Apparently they were like screaming at each other, and my husband heard her say like, don't throw stuff at my car. Like he was like throwing stuff at her car or something. And I was like, okay, well, did she sound like she's in danger? Like, was he throwing stuff at her? And he was like, it sounded like she did something wrong, was what my husband said. And I was like, okay, well, just like make sure she's okay, like make sure that it's not like getting violent. And so he like listened more, and he was like, yeah, it's not, like they're just like yelling at each other, but they were like outside, so it was kind of crazy. But yet again, I was like, I'm always very like, if there's like a domestic dispute happening, I want to make sure that like the woman is safe, just like statistically speaking. And like from listening to true crime, like women can get like hurt, injured, killed like from domestic violence. So like I'm always trying to like gauge like, okay, is this like serious enough to like call the cops, or are they just like having a lover's quarrel and like it's not my business type of thing. So I don't know, it's been kind of weird though that like in the span of like 2 months, like 2 neighbors, the people below us and the people next to us, had like blowout fights where we could like hear them. So kind of weird. But then again, it's like, I don't know, you want to find the balance of like, it's not my business versus like, is someone gonna get hurt, like eavesdropping, you know? So that's been some tea in my neck of the woods lately. Okay, so if you've listened to any of my old neighborhood gossip videos, there is a house that we walk by with our dog, and they have a golden retriever, and the golden is super friendly and would always try to play with my dog. And I talked about in previous videos how I wanted to be friends with these people and like introduce myself, and like I wanted our dogs to be friends. Well, we noticed that all of a sudden they were moved out, and the inside of their house was gutted, like absolutely gutted. And I was like, that's so weird, like clearly they're renovating. So then we start to see they have like a work crew, like I don't know, contractors or what it would be called, like workers at their house, and they start digging into the earth, like this huge massive project. Like at first we thought like, oh, they're just gutting and renovating the house. No, they are doing a huge addition. And before there was like a standalone garage, and then their house, they literally dug the whole ground between the house and the garage. And my husband was like, oh my god, they're connecting them. They're like connecting the house and the garage. They're probably making like a huge addition and like connecting the two. And he was right, because now at first I was like, no, it just looks like maybe they're extending just the basement part, but now there is like walls up, and yeah, they're like, they took like the house and then the garage, and they literally are connecting the two. And I don't know if they're gonna make the garage like just square footage and like bedrooms, or if they'll keep it as a garage, but it'll just like connect to the house, and then there will be like rooms in between the house and the garage. Obviously I have no way of knowing what their like plans are and what their layout is, but it's just kind of crazy because we looked up the Zillow and that house was already very expensive, and like how they bought it, like it was pricey. And then now they're doing this massive addition, and they're like early 30s, like they are young. So me and my husband are always just like, how do people have that much money? Like, what do they do for work? Like, how can you afford that house and then do a massive addition onto that house and be in your early 30s? Like, what? Obviously, everyone has different circumstances, and there could be like family money, or maybe they just like have a super high paying job. So whatever, to each their own. But now they're not even living there, so my whole quest to like become friends with them and like have our dogs be friends is just fruitless now, and can't happen because they're like not living there. Like it is completely vacant, like it is gutted. So I don't know if they're doing this for themselves and then they're gonna move back in, or are they just like flipping it to flipping it to put it on Airbnb. So I'm not sure what is going to happen, if they're going to move back in or not, but I thought that was kind of crazy. Okay, I feel like the edges of my hair look like white because I put dry shampoo in, and like my hair is like naturally, like this is the natural color, so it's like kind of blonde, kind of brown. It's like weird. And I do get natural highlights, so that's not like out of the ordinary for this to be light, but I feel like it's especially, like, I feel like it looks white. I don't know if it's my hair, if it's the dry shampoo, but this is like off topic, not neighborhood gossip, but my blue is definitely faded a lot, but I still think it's pretty. It's like a light blue, like kind of aqua, because when you put blue onto blonde hair or brown hair, whatever, she bleached this first and then put the blue on, but naturally, like, it fades to green, which I don't really mind, and I think it's actually really pretty like this, but it is like very faded, because when she first did it, it was like a deep blue, but tomorrow I'm getting this redone. She's just like putting more blue on top of this, so it will be dark blue again. Kind of matches my gum. Oh, not really. No, it kind of matches my eyes. My eyes I think are more green than the hair, but then the gum is more blue than the hair. It's kind of like in the middle. So I'm getting that done. Let me think. So I talked about my landlord, my unit, the people that live below me, the people that live next to me, the person on the other side that feeds the animals, and the people with the golden that are doing the huge addition. I feel like those are the biggest like neighborhood updates. People are still driving way too fast and it's still pissing us off, so that's a huge problem. People just are driving way too fast. Trying to think. Okay, this one is so random. It's not even good gossip, but there was this other house that we always walk by with our dog, and they have this like really cute lab pit mix, and they have a fence, and so that dog would always run up to their fence and like greet our dog, and they were kind of like star-crossed lovers like through the fence. My dog like loved this dog, and the dog is still here. Nothing happened to the dog, but their lot like was fenced in and had a bunch of trees, and yeah, there were like at least 3 or 4 trees in their backyard. Well, a few weeks ago we walked by and we like both took a double take, me and my husband, and we were like, wait, where'd their trees go? They literally cut down all of the trees in their yard, and we were like, oh, what? So that was kind of weird, but the only thing that I could think of is that the tree closest to the fence, like the tree that we like walked right by, had is it box elders? What's that bug? I think it's box elders. It's like that red bug that like kills trees. So that one tree did have those bugs, because we would like see them on the tree, and they were on the rock like below the tree, because our dog sometimes would try to sniff it and we'd have to like tell him no and pull him away, because there were like so many bugs. So I'm like, maybe the box elders literally attacked all of their trees and they were all dead, so they were like, screw it, let's just cut them down. That's the only logical explanation I can think of, because now they just have this like wide open lot with this little neighborhood gossip gum chewing video. Hopefully it could help you relax, or get sleepy, or just escape for a while. Thank you, per usual, for being on my channel and watching my video. I hope you will subscribe to my channel. Subscribe. And I will see you again